pleased to have Debbie Finley as our speaker today. Deborah is the current chair of the Boone County Democrats. She is standing for re-election this August. Yay!
Oh
Um,
man.
she served several years as treasurer and led efforts around voter registration and get out the vote campaigns. Deborah retired in 2020 to devote more time to the Boone County Democrats. She has a master's degree in public administration, is a certified professional in health quality improvement, and was a licensed nursing home administrator. Debbie's entire career has been in public service. Welcome, Debbie.
Thank you all for having me. I started making a list of everything that I wanted to talk to you all about, and I was like, I don't think that 30 minutes is too much time. Oh my God, the list just kept going on and on. So I'm going to try to talk fast and yet cover everything that I think is important. Um, I wanted to bring you all up to date fully on the activities of Boone County Democrats. We do have somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 working subcommittees that each handle a specific task. And when I say they're working, that means they're working. They have co-leads on each subcommittee, and they are actively pushing work in those areas. You can see all of our subcommittees on our web page. They're listed there. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about is our newest program called Doorstep Democracy. This is being led by Rachel English. She moved back down here to Columbia from Minnesota, where she was using this approach to uh, convince people. I'm not sure exactly what it was. It may have been trans issues or LGBTQ issues, but to engage people in the community in deeper conversations about issues. So she approached me last fall and she said she wanted to get Boone County Democrats involved in what she calls deep canvassing. Deep canvassing is an approach where you're not knocking on doors and trying to convince people to vote for a specific candidate or vote a specific way, but rather you knock on a door and you engage in conversation around common values. So you're trying to raise within that person's door that you knocked what's important to them. Why do they vote a certain way? Particularly, what's their personal story behind why they vote Republican, Democrat, or why they don't vote at all? And then you begin relaying your story about why you vote a certain way, try to get some engagement across both conversations, and basically pull them closer, help them realize that Democrats are not demons, that we are just regular people. We want what's best for our country and try to create common ground. So Rachel is leading this effort. She's not paid. She's a full volunteer, putting in, I would say probably 20 to 40 hours a month on this. We beta tested the program June and July. Um, During that period of time, Rachel worked on the scripts that we were using, worked on the training that she's providing to the canvassers, and we actually went out in the street canvassing. Our first beta test was in June. We canvassed 200 doors. I went through the training both in June and July because I'm a little hard-headed, and she had to keep pounding into me that I wasn't knocking a door saying vote Democrat right away. But we knocked 200 doors in June. I don't have the final numbers in July. But Christina, I finally got the good hang of it in July. And I knocked doors with Christina Hartman And I also knocked doors with Bridget Early. She's a former physician from Ashland. During that last round of door knocking, Christina and I were on Demerit Drive. And I had 10 quality conversations with people on the doors. I found people that were not registered to vote. Uh, and I've still got their names down. I'm going to knock their doors after the election and make sure they followed up and registered. But I found people that were not registered to vote. I found people that were reluctant to vote. Um, I found people that were right on target with us, had the same values. Um, but by connecting with them, I believe that you make a stronger voter because they see other people that are like them and you're reminding them to vote. We also registered, every time I've gone out, I've registered people for absentee ballot voting. So it's been very interesting. I think Jim, would you close the door? By the way, Jim House is here with me today. Jim and I used to be coworkers at Primaris. Um, but one of the more interesting conversations I had was over on Lakeview Drive, I think. The very first door I knocked, basically, I started off with the question of, are you planning to vote? And the gentleman was talking to me and he said, I don't think my vote makes a difference. And I asked him, I said, well, why, when you do vote, what are you voting for? What causes you to vote? And he was talking about Medicaid and different aspects of what causes him to vote. And I shared that I was voting this time because I wanted to protect our constitutional amendment process and described to him what Amendment 4 was. And after about a 25-minute conversation, he said, you've convinced me. He goes, I'm voting August 4th. So I really have faith that this program is going to make a difference during 2027 and 2028. We'll be doing this deep canvassing for the next 2 years, trying to prep people for the 2028 election. So after this meeting's over, I'll send David some of the flyers that we have in place about doorstep democracy. And if you know of anyone who's interested in joining us, our next training session is going to be August 12th here at headquarters. And we'll follow that the following weekend with a day and a half of canvassing. So if you like to talk to people, if you like to talk to people about issues, this is the place to be because eventually you do begin talking about issues. The second thing I wanted to share with you is the activities. I'm just going to ask, are there any questions that you have about our doorstep democracy program?
Debbie, I was wondering if there's any consideration of modifying it for phone banking. Um,
Oh,
I I just
that
can't
is
do
a
the
great
canvassing right now.
idea. I think that is a great idea. So I'm going to talk to Rachel about that. We're trying to get the canvassing off the ground. Right now we have about 15 volunteers, which is not too bad considering we just started this. And these are 15, one person stays behind and runs the list. And if somebody has an emergency, that's somebody to call. So that means we've got 14 people already trained in canvassing. We're hoping to get that number up to about 60.
Alice has
So
raised her hand and put a question into chat. So I think it has to do with what you've just been talking about. Alice.
Miss Alice,
Yes, I support canvassing. I think it's wonderful. I have my own questions about, is this the right time to not be promoting candidates?
we are
Because,
promoting candidates. Good point, Alice. We
okay,
do begin with the issues. I mean, we begin with the value statement. We begin with connecting with somebody.
I
So
see.
after we've made that connection, then we're handing the materials on the amendments and we're handing them Becky's information. We included Kyle's information this last round.
But
So
not the city council because we didn't endorse.
no, that we would be doing the city council, but we are focusing right now on our deep canvas in 44.
I
We will
see. I
we
see.
will continue to focus in 44 up until the November election. And then after that, we'll become citywide.
I see.
We may be looking at the wards that have the worst turnout. Ward 3 does not have a good turnout. And I'm trying to think, I think Ward 2 may be the second worst turnout. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get people motivated to vote, or if they're independents or they're moderate Republicans, to swing more our way.
Right.
So
So,
if I'm understanding this, then this deep canvassing is a lot like research for you and other leaders in the party for the best way to reach people. If you're doing 44, there's the research we need in 44
right.
to win that. And then I know how to win Ward 3, get people motivated in Ward 3. Marijuana does it. That's that way we had our biggest turnout ever on the marijuana issue. But maybe there is another issue that could motivate Ward 3 as well.
Right. Right. So, and this is a researched approach. You know, Jim and I both come from Primaris, where much of what we did at that company was based in research. Doorstep democracy and deep canvassing shows that you can change people's minds and get them to the polls much better than a traditional 5-minute canvass where you're just talking about issues. So,
Or candidates.
yes, you're right, Alice. It eventually gets there, but first you're trying to make that, and Rachel calls it a heart-to-heart connection. You're trying to connect to that person as a person. So I'm really excited about it. It was difficult for me to begin with because, I just want to get to the crux of the matter and get their vote and then move on to the next door. But what you're trying to do is change a mind for a while. Okay, so then I want to talk about what we're doing on Get Out the Vote. God, I'm so proud of this team. It's led by Monica Lee, Linda Hayes, Bonnie Chasteen, and we've got a new guy that joined us, Jake Laplich. Basically, this team is working on how do you drive people to the polls, get out the vote, not through canvassing, but how do you get people to the polls? Our target for that team, we pulled some data from the van. If you look at the data that we got, we looked at who voted in the last presidential election. Then we dropped back to the last midterm to see how many people voted in the presidential but don't vote in the midterms. Because midterm's going to be pretty dang important this year or next year or this year. Uh, 10,000 people, Boone County Democrats that are likely, I think it was 70% likely to be Democrats, do not consistently vote in the midterm. We need those 10,000 voters. So that's who Monica and Linda have been concentrating on. Since early June, we've sent those 8,000 of them because we don't have enough money to do all 10,000. We sent 8,000 postcards 3 different times to these people. We sent the first postcard in the spring, giving them the list of the voting dates and the early voting dates. We sent the second postcard, which is 2 decades. The red postcard that's got the Capitol down the side that says 2 decades of Republican domination. Isn't that enough? And it listed 4 results of 22 years of Republican rule, which is 4-day school weeks, 12 hospitals closing, reproductive rights being taken away, and there was another area. And then we just got done sending our last set of postcards. Well, not our last set, our third set of postcards that listed the 4 amendments and how they should vote. Some of these postcards are bulk mailed, again, targeting 8,000 of the 10,000 inconsistent voters. Some of them, we pull them aside and we handwrite them because we know that handwriting a postcard, particularly in a municipal election, is more likely to have a result than just mailing a postcard. So we also have paired that with text messaging, which costs 3 cents a text message. Again, we're targeting 8,000 inconsistent voters for 2 sets of text messaging prior to each election. So the first set went out on the day of early voting, and then we'll send another set of 8,000 text messages probably on Monday. Now, what do we have planned for the November election? We're going to develop another postcard with the amendments. We're talking about combining that with our normal slate mailing, which we had done, which was a sheet of paper that lists all the candidates on it. Since there's not that many, we're thinking that we can put this on an oversized postcard and get that in the mail, do another set of text messages, and then we're also thinking about a Vote Blue yard sign, kind of playing off of the 2 decades postcard that we sent. And I had somebody walk in the door. You know, whenever I do public speaking or I'm meeting with people, I say, if you've got any ideas, and this goes for you all too, if you got any ideas, come with me. Come talk with me if you've got an idea. Jay Heischheider showed up middle of this week, and he wants to organize sign holding at 5 intersections in central Columbia that on voting day from 3:45 to 5:30 as people are on their way home from work. Because I remember what it was like to work, and I'd be working too late, then I'd be running home, and then I'd go, oh crap, I forgot to vote. So this would be reminding people as they're driving home that there was still time to vote. He's selected 5 intersections in central Missouri, or central city, that he thinks would be ideas. So we're going to implement that on Tuesday. Any questions? Oh, one other thing. Going along with everything we've been doing on Get Out the Vote, we have fluorescent half sheets that we developed on Amendment 4 and 5. We have distributed over, I would say by now, we've probably distributed over 3,000 of those sheets just by going to the farmer's market, being downtown, at the library. We distribute them at the Boone County Fair. So we've distributed almost 3,000 of those quarter sheets. We've distributed over 1,000 vote no on 4 and 5 signs, well over 1,000. We ordered 800. Those disappeared. And now we've got all the leftovers from the realtors and the other 2 opposing groups here at headquarters. So pretty big efforts there. And we'll be doing the same thing for the amendments come November. Booths and if I run out of time, give me the hook. Booths and parades are pretty important. I found somebody that is willing to lead our booth planning. You think it's easy, you think a parade's easy, it's not. Carla Klein's doing that. We had a great Earth Day booth. We had a great Boone County Fair booth. If we staff a booth, we don't stay in the booth. At Boone County Fair, I joked and said, we're going to have a Democrat gauntlet people have to walk through to get to the fair. So we had 4 people out on the street across from our booth talking about Amendment 4, signing people up for the newsletter, uh, passing out information about Becky, and just engaging with voters. So we I would say we stopped maybe 60% of the people walking in. And it was really heartening because I was passing out on Friday evening the fluorescent quarter sheets on 4 and 5, and I would just stop somebody as they started to walk by me and say, "Hey, have you decided how you're voting on 4 and 5 this August 4th?" And whatever they said, I'd give them the half sheets. I would say that 75% of the people I stopped were saying they were going to vote no on both of them anyway. I was not expecting that at Boone County Fair. I was expecting a much more conservative audience. So I think we're doing really well with our booths, parades. Our next big uh, booth will be Pride Fest, which is also a wonderful way to engage with folks, and we get a lot of people registered there.
That will be
Fundraising,
student. Pride Fest involves the returning students, right?
yes, yes, yes. And we did Pride Fest in Ashland as well.
Yeah.
Our booth location was not very, very good. It was way, way away and in the sun. And we sat there, and I think you could hear my fat frying in the heat. It was so hot.
Yes.
Fundraising, I do not have the date of our stump speech picnic yet. As soon as I get that from the team, I'll let you know. But I think our membership is doing well. Our fundraising is doing well. I am going to start urging people, instead of paying an annual fee, I would really prefer that you make it a monthly fee. If you make it monthly, then we can count on that every year. If you make it annual, we have to rely on you remembering to sign up. And part of what we need to be doing as Boone County Democrats is having a consistent influx of money. And going to becoming a monthly member would give us that consistency. We did get an amplified grant for $12,000. We're using that for a volunteer coordinator. She's been on board now for uh, a month and a half. We do have 156 registered volunteers. Her first 2 weeks, she got 13 new volunteers. And to just give you an idea of what do volunteers do for us, during the month of June, we had 75 volunteers who donated 935 hours. Sounds like it's enough. It's not. We need more volunteers. So we're happy she's working 20 hours a week and putting in reports. I'll be giving her a list of areas to recruit for the next 2 weeks. So we're working on that. Oh, and then I have to tell you about our protest team. This team is just amazing. They never come and ask me anything, which I love. They just do it. So they organize the protest every Saturday at the corner of Broadway and Stadium. They're communicating directly with the police department. We know exactly now when we should call 911 or 911 when we're getting threats. Uh, I learned more about what's considered an assault than I ever thought I would ever need to know. Uh, we've got them staffed with body cameras and walkie-talkies, and they're just doing a really good job. The latest thing that they did, and I was sitting here at headquarters up to my eyeballs and whatever I can't remember, and I was hearing about what was happening at the library, and it flitted across my mind like, oh, doggone, I wish we could arrange something there. They did it with not even asking. Lydia Steincoder and Carol Elliott lead that team. Lydia showed up at the library at 7:30 in the morning on Saturday with a box of chalk. And multiple people chalked the sidewalks up and down the street leading to the library. It made the news, just like the fair maps that they requested made the news over and over again. The big banner that we did that said fair maps, that was the protest team that developed that. They developed the banner that says vote no on 4 and 5. Now they do ask me if they have to spend money, but these people are active. They're out there helping people voice their concerns, and they showed up at the library. Right now, they're researching where we can chalk along the sidewalk at Denny Hoskins' office. Because Capitol Avenue, when you go into Jeff City and you take Capitol Avenue down the hill and up to the Capitol, Denny Hoskins' office is right down there in that valley. And I think a rainbow dinosaur would look great chalked on his sidewalk. So they're exploring that right now. They're in touch with Zim Schwartz. She's Capitol Police Chief. So she's working with them to figure out what we can do. We've got our voter registration team up and running. We're going to be holding another voter registration training here in August with Brianna Lennon, and the team have ideas for different community events where they can go and register voters. I'm feeling we do have a newsletter team. Scott Crystal left us. So we do have a young man, Jake Liplich, is going to be doing our newsletter. Anna Doe had been helping Scott with that, and so she'll continue. But I'm feeling a little trepidation with Scott leaving. Scott had such deep ties in the community. I'm worried that we will lose those ties. So I am really open to anybody that has ideas on how we can't replace Scott, but we need somebody regularly going to the NAACP meeting. We need somebody regularly going to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference meetings. We do have members that are in the Sierra Club, but I'm just really feeling I can't think of anything other than I'm feeling a little naked in that area.
Yeah.
So I'm open to any ideas. So any questions from anyone other than we are very, very busy and there's still more to do.
Well, I definitely want to second the concern about what the world after Scott, and definitely I want to do what I can to support Jake and others. And I'm not sure I'm the right person to be the NAACP and SCLC connection, but I would try. I do know them. So we're all going to have to work together to see what can come
Right.
out of that. Maybe it'll be them, maybe it'll be somebody who joins them, but it's going to take more than one person to
Right.
fill that Scott job.
Right. So
David
true.
Merritt or David Mallory.
One of the other Davids. I'll just put in chat question for those protests in Jeff City, such as chalking sidewalk outside any Hoskins office. Is our protest team working with the Cole County Democratic Party?
That's a good idea. I'll put them in touch. Dustin Back is their chair. So I'm going to put that down in my notes to contact Dustin and Suzanne Luther, who's running for their rep down there. And somebody said we can afford body cameras and walkie-talkies. The walkie-talkies were donated to us, and I bought the body cameras for the team. I was just, as we progressed, I just was feeling so uncomfortable to not have something on camera We've had half-empty water bottle thrown at people. We've had people swerve like they're going to hit us. And by the way, all of those are 911 calls. I had no idea.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, we talk to the police about it. We meet with them once every 2 or 3 months. And they've said if they swerve at you like they're trying to hit you, you call us immediately. Get us the make and model of the car, license plate if you can, what the driver looked like, and we will track them down right then and there. And they've said, you know, they'll probably say, oh, well, I didn't mean to do it. But it does put that person on notice that you better not be doing it again. Now, if somebody in a big pickup truck blows smoke all over us, I don't know what that's called, blowing coal. That's not. But we did have another guy stop in traffic, stand on the running board of his truck, shouting across the hood of the bed, the cab of the truck, that he said, I'm going to shoot you. I'm coming over there and I'm going to shoot you. Um, I did not know that that's a 911 call.
Well,
You know, that is a threat. If he would have said, I wish I could shoot you, or I hope if he would have put it more tentatively, but when he said, I'm coming over there to shoot you, then that's a 911 call. So we're so, I never thought I'd have to know this stuff. The police department has been lovely. Um, Captain Schluty she is so amazing. You can tell that she is a true public servant. You know, she
yeah.
may be a police officer, but she really believes in serve and protect.
It's also clear from our recent meeting with her, she's so proud to be a Colombian from the very
Yes,
beginning, you know. She's so proud of her community. And we're so lucky to have somebody like
that's
that in
great.
that
Yeah.
position. Not that people coming from elsewhere couldn't do a great job, because many of them will and can. But just right now, the chief of police, a woman who is from the bottom ranks of
Yes.
beginning, you know, as a volunteer and rising to that position over those decades of service. She's just really wonderful. I agree with that.
And you know, I was able to meet Brian Schaefer, our fire chief,
Right.
and had no idea. He came here from Spokane.
Yes.
He he didn't resign. He retired. He
Mhm.
retired from Spokane. And Spokane is one of the nationally recognized fire departments in
Yeah.
the nation. They are both just such public servants.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good servant
He's got
leaders.
expertise in wildfires and other
Yeah,
things that we hope we'll never need, but it's good that we have it. And and Chief Schluty said that she really enjoyed talking to him about things that he brought from other areas of experience where
yeah.
she'd not had the chance to do that, but she has him to talk to.
One of the things that I was not aware of is he said in Spokane, all the EMS crew is located in the fire department. Kind of
Yeah.
like, you know, the TV show Chicago Fire,
Right.
Chicago Med, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not the way it is here in
Right.
Columbia. It's
Yeah.
all based out of the hospitals. And he said they can look up at any point and only have one truck, one ambulance available for the whole city because they're running people, they're making money running people from hospitals here over to St. Louis, Kansas City, or whatever.
Yeah.
Very neat people.
Other questions for Debbie. It's so nice of you to take the time. I
I
hope it's
hope
a
it's a
good
good
use of
use
your
of your
time.
time.
Yes. Well, I just need good ideas. I see Herb's got his hand up.
Okay, Herb.
Before I say anything else, Debbie, I want to thank you and the Corps, CORPS, all of you who are working on behalf of spreading energy and contributing your own energy to this crucial enterprise, and thank you all. And I hope you share that around. I wish I was in a better position to do more right now, but you know the story. Anyway, I do think that Scott's leaving is something we can take a cue from. I would frequently find when a gathering that I thought was important was ill attended. If no one else was there, there's Scott.
Yes.
And we conversed about this and decided that at least he, and I by aspiration, if not accomplishment, never heard of a party we did not want to attend. So all we need to do is to find some other people, I think, to carry on who are party animals and can't resist the opportunities. And maybe we can share it as a group.
Yeah, I like that. I think I'll put out the call for party animals.
Maybe there'll be a Scott Crystal Party Animal Award someday. Marie.
Yeah, hi, thanks for coming to the Muleskinners today. My question is just simply if you could describe some of the roles that you use volunteers for.
We do have a, why am I getting feedback? Okay. We do have a volunteer newsletter that goes out the first or the last day of every month. I'm actually working on it right now. In that newsletter, it lists every current volunteer need. Plus, if you go onto our website and hit the volunteer button, there's a form that you can fill out that lists all the different volunteer needs that there are. We need people to register voters. We need people to staff headquarters. I cannot believe how busy we are. I was telling folks the other day, I feel like we're in a presidential election. I cannot even get one thing done in here because I already this morning we've had 6 visitors. That's highly unusual. So you know that's going to continue all the way up through November. So we've got to have the headquarters staffed by 2 people minimum all the time. Otherwise, I end up answering the questions, which means I can't get work done. We need people to plan our fundraisers. That's plan and implement the fundraisers. So that's people cooking chili, people grilling the hot dogs, people running trivia night. So I need more people on my fundraising team. I really need people on the donor team. I've kind of halfway implemented that. Mike Trapp gave us the names and phone numbers of 2,000 donors to liberal causes. I don't know where he got them. And he sat down with me and talked about strategic planning. I went through those 2,000 names, and I am not kidding you one bit. I don't think even 3% of the people on that list were people we knew. So we pulled off the top 200, and we thought what we would try to do is a donor matching campaign. And I got it halfway rolling this spring, and then all the amendment stuff started happening. So we called the 200 people on the list, and from that 200, I think we probably got 8 people to donate $6,000 in matching funds. Now we need to call the other 1,800 at the bottom of the list, people that have never donated to us before. I mean, I've pulled all the Act Blue list for the last 5 years. I cannot believe there are 1,800 people in Columbia donating to liberal causes that have never given us a dime. So now I need to call those, well, I don't need to. I need people to help me call those 1,800 and say, we've got $6,000 in matching funds. These people are matching dollar for dollar every dollar you donate. So I need to follow up and get that implemented. But I figure we're not going to be able to do it until the beginning of next year, maybe after the chili supper.
I have
Um,
one idea about that, because I know how some of these liberal donors are. They're interested in certain things. You have a good organization now of your teams. You just went through about a dozen or maybe 10 of them. If you could give a quick presentation of these teams, these are what these people are working on. Would you be interested in, donating to support this kind of thing? That'd be a hook to somebody who likes the get out the vote, or likes the fundraising, or likes the protests. There might be some of those too.
yeah,
And then, in other words, instead of just being a blanket, give us money. These are the things we do. Would you like to donate particularly to this and talk to those people? That might work. That might
I
help.
think that's a great idea. So I'm needing more people on the donor team to help out to plan how we're going to implement this early next
Yeah.
year. The protest team is getting exhausted.
Yeah.
Uh, they are holding this protest every week. We have a core group of them, but I just need another couple of people to take a leadership role 1 day a month. So we have um, a peacekeeper at every protest. Then we have people on every corner, and somebody's got to come in here and load everything up. So this would have to be somebody that's pretty spry and able to help us out. But if you know of any younger people, it's almost getting too much for me, actually. But I need just one or two more people to assist that protest team because I want to keep them going. But you know how it just gets tiring when you're the only people doing it. I need more people volunteering at our booths and at our parades. The booth, if you only have two people running the booth, that's not a big enough gauntlet. You need 4 to 5 people every shift, and you need to spread them across the street, and they need to be willing to talk to people. Does anybody know Anna Chippendale? Oh my God, she is amazing.
From years
She
ago.
she was at Boone County Fair. She was there the first night. And sometimes when you say to people, okay, now spread out here in the street, and here's these fluorescent flyers, and you're going to pass them out, or here, I want you to ask people if they want to get our newsletter. It's like, oh, I don't want to do that. I said, okay, what do you want to do? Oh my gosh, she was right out in the middle of that street passing out those fluorescent flyers and talking to everybody. Then when she left, it was such a hot day that Carla was worried about her getting to the car because it was just it was so hot, people were sweating so profusely. So she started to walk into the car, and Inna saw John Martin. Oh my God. It was wonderful. She stopped, she walked right up to John Martin and she said, "Hi, I'm Enna Chippendale." And I don't think Enna lives in the 44th, but she introduced herself and she said, "Isn't this democracy just wonderful?" She said, "Here we have the Democrats 3 booths up, and here we have the Republicans 4 booths down." And he agreed that democracy was wonderful. And then she hit him with his vote on reproductive rights. And she's just so well, she speaks so well. And she engaged him in about a 20-minute conversation before his handler tried to run her off.
Uh,
So I need more people like that, people that are not afraid to talk, you know?
Dave Taylor put in a message that you might want to think about your friends from Move the Vote, when you
Move.
talk about your fundraising teams, because there may be people there who are ready to get onto a more permanent relationship
Right.
in the fundraising area. Move the needle, move the vote, move the needle.
Moving
I'm
it.
I'm really getting bad at keeping my my acronyms and my my nicknames clear. I think I will call time on you, Debbie. Not that we couldn't
Okay.
talk about this forever, because we certainly can, but because you've been so generous today. We have a couple other things that we wanted to talk about today, and I think you've really given us a good here at primary report. Can't makes me feel really good about getting ready for the general now.
Yeah.
All the things you've told me, and I hope that all of us, some of us, many of us in different ways can get involved in the things that you've told us about.
Oh, I do have one other thing. Liz Palazzolo is leading a letters to the editor team.
Oh, yeah.
So those of you who are good writers, and it's not going out under Boone County Democrat's name. You write the letter, you share it with a team, you put it out under your own name. The only thing that I'm asking people to do is to try to use some of the phrases from our poster. We
Yeah.
believe in America. We believe in justice for all. So, okay, I'm gonna go into the other room, but Jim House is in here, so I'm gonna turn this over to Jim so he can finish out the meeting with you guys.
Okay, and here's what we
Thanks
have
for
to
letting
talk
me be
about.
here.
Thank you. The one topic that Kathy asked me to bring up, thanks again
Yeah.
to you, Jim, now for joining us, and you can let Debbie know what we're talking about.
David,
And
David, I have a question. Do you want to continue recording this?
yeah, just for the moment, I'll tell you when to
Okay, let me
stop.
know.
Okay,
Let me
I
know.
will tell you when
Thanks.
to stop. Kathy Jensen asked me to talk about voter intimidation and the program at the Brennan Center for Justice. And I'm not really going to do that except to mention it and say that you can go to their website and look at their program called Americans Vote Without Fear. And it does document some things that happened in recent elections where there were organized efforts to challenge voters in some sensitive and important areas like Atlanta, like Detroit, where we've heard about voter intimidation and challenges before. It has a lot of practical information there about, if someone is intimidated, that they should, or told that they're no longer on the voter rolls, that they should ask for provisional ballot and a receipt. It also talks about a lot of the Brennan Center is made up of mostly legal people. It's named after it's named after Associate Justice William J. Brennan Jr., who was a champion on the Supreme Court for civil rights and human rights. And so in honor of him, they keep this Brennan Center for Justice going. And voter protection is a big area. It's not the only area that they cover, but it's currently a big area. I think that we don't have to worry too much in Missouri right now, although I'm beginning to wonder about some of these new congressional districts, if there may be some efforts to intimidate voters. I'm a little worried about that. But usually they want to intimidate voters in places like Atlanta, like Detroit, where minority groups and sometimes people closer to immigrant groups immigrants who have the right to vote, who are citizens, that they can try to discourage them from voting. So there is a lot of concern about that. I went to my 50th Harvard reunion last month, and after 50 years, these fine people, and by the way, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court and Bobby Kennedy Jr. are both members of my class. They didn't attend our reunion, but they were talked about to some extent. Also, we were told in all our public meetings not to say anything political, if you can imagine that. We're supposed to be free people, uh, searching for knowledge and championing the liberal arts, but the president of Harvard feels like he's also a member of my class. feels like he was under attack by the Trump administration, and everything was being recorded. So they asked us not to be political. Well, we followed that mostly in our meetings, but there was a group that came out big, two groups that came out big. One that had a meeting before our regular meetings, and that was the women, the Radcliffe Harvard women. They used to be called Radcliffe back in my day, and now they're not anymore. But they wanted to talk about women's issues, so they had their own meeting separate from the regular reunion. And I don't know what they did, but I'm hoping it's very radical what they're doing. And then there's a group called Crimson Goes Blue, Harvard Crimson. That's like the Yale, the Yale Eli and the Stanford Cardinal. That's the actual name of the football team, the Crimson. Um, but the Crimson Goes Blue was a group of Democrats that started in 2019, that is in the Trump era, to get Harvard graduates involved. They're very much concerned about voter intimidation, and they're following the Brennan Center, and there's a lot of lawyers involved, a lot of Harvard lawyers and other Ivy League lawyers. They're worried about the blue wall, um, uh, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio. Uh, well, Ohio used to be part of it. About Arizona, North Carolina, and some congressional districts maybe in California. They're not worried about Missouri because, frankly, if we get a whole lot more people to vote in Missouri, usually more Republicans win. So they're not concentrating here on voting. But I think the most important thing I got from the meeting with them recently, the Crimson Goes Blue, is that the MAGA people have to know that we're there. They have to know that there are a bunch of lawyers watching, that have people who are at the polls, that are seeing if people are being intimidated, or counseling people if they're being intimidated. As long as there's a big publicized concern that we are there, then maybe the people who are going to be intimidated will not be intimidated by knowing that MAGA is going to be there too. I hate to make it sound like a war, but that has been that way in the past. If you remember the bad old days of civil rights and Jim Crow, where people were not allowed to vote. Why we have to go back to things that should have been discarded and gone 50 years ago, I don't know. But we have to be concerned. Not so much maybe in this primary, but maybe a little bit in places like Kansas City and St. Louis, or I'm thinking Kansas City particularly with the new congressional districts. There may be voter intimidation to keep numbers of minority and immigrant communities down. I'm a little worried about that. But definitely in those states where things are crucial, like Arizona, parts of Texas, parts of California, and North Carolina. So League of Women Voters, I'm seeing um, in the chat is involved with voter protection, and other people have raised other things. I think this is something that we can visit if you think there's anything we can do or anything we can join with. We have a pretty good situation here about our voters, I think, and certainly with our county clerk, although we may have to get ready to help encourage and protect her if she's attacked by the state mega people. I'm a little concerned about the prospects for that. I see Marie's hand up, and I've basically said what I want to say here. What do you want to tell us, Marie?
I just wanted to draw attention, as you did, to the note I put in the chat. There is a coalition here in Missouri called the Missouri Voter Protection Coalition, of which anyone can join in. They have weekly calls, but one of their main focuses during election times is to station people at the polls in areas that serve a lot of minority voters, especially, and to inform voters about their rights, and to make sure that they know to call the hotline and speak with an attorney if they feel like they're being denied the ability to vote.
Yes, to have people there who are willing to say that we're here to help you if you need help. I think just knowing that that is there is going to make a big difference, not only to the intimidated voter or the voter who might feel intimidated, but also to those who might be inclined to intimidate them, to know that there are such people there. That's wonderful.
And we've had a lot of discussion about whether we need to try to have people in place at the polls here in Boone County, and pretty much concluded that we do not. We will probably put up signs with the hotline number at the polling places, but Brianna's just so good.
Right. I would tend to want to follow her advice on what would be best in Boone County, and that sounds about right for this time. I mean, who knows what we'll see in November, but so far so good. Any other questions about that? I think that was and then I mentioned the Crimson Goes Blue only because that's the group that I was connected with, and Marie is talking about one that she's well connected with. You may come up with others and let us know if you come across other groups who feel the need to be ready to be activated. The Crimson Goes Blue is very much across state lines, and mostly in those states where I talk about they're getting challenge voting, what they're called actually registered challengers standing there ready already, sort of trained by the county clerks to be in that position for people to consult or to inform election officials if that need be. So I hate to see it get so complicated, really, but I hate to think that we have to have that. But the Brennan Center has documented something like 185,000 reports. Now that's in the whole country, so that's, probably didn't swing an election except for a minor one here or there. But that's too many people being intimidated, if indeed that's what it was. And they think that's an underreport, actually. And that was in the last presidential election. So it's not a kind of fascism that I want to see coming here into my country. And it has come into other countries many times before. And we need to not be not to say that it can't happen. I'm not saying it's happening yet, and it's a big problem, but I think it's a problem we have to keep our mind on. Now, that puts us up to 1 o'clock, our usual time. And Kathy, was there anything else that you wanted to hear from me about this today? Kathy Jensen?
Yeah, I'm
Was there
here. You did a great.
anything else you wanted to hear from me about today?
Well, I thought you were going to talk about the other,
The other
the
issue.
donation
Okay,
situation.
I think that's the main remaining thing. And before I move to that, I'll say stop recording. We're done for today officially. And also, if there's anyone here involved in an official way with a political campaign, I'd like for you to depart now. We're going to talk about some campaign financing.